Kakadosh Boker Or, Bekiim Bahalacha 4, day 92. Yeah, this is Halacha, Siman 31, Halacha Vav. Yeah, Amit, page 231. המתפלל בבית הכנסת של אשכנזים בחוץ לארץ. If you're going to pray in a בית הכנסת of אשכנזים מחוץ לארץ, שכולם מניחים שם תפילין בחול המועד, everyone puts on תפילין during חול המועד. Yeah? חול המועד, yeah, that was yesterday and 2 days ago. Yeah?
No, but
There's a lot of Ashkenazim that put it on, of course, yes. No, not only that. There's a difference. Some Ashkenazim also. יכול להמשיך במנהגו שלא להניח תפילין. He could continue his minhag not to put on tefillin. Okay? So that's going to be halacha number 1. Here you have 251. 251 is the opinion of the Mishnah Berurah. The Arutzot HaChaim brought down in the Mishnah Berurah states that it is incorrect for some people in one Bet Knesset to put on tefillin during Chol Moed and others not to. This behavior infringes on transgression lo go to do, which means that you're making different halachic opinions in one congregation. Therefore, if someone who follows the custom of not wearing tefillin prays in a congregation where the custom is to put on tefillin, he should put on the tefillin like everyone else, but without saying the beracha. The Rishon LeZion discussed the issue of Sephardic students in Ashkenazic yeshivot during the summer. Ashkenazi Jews refrain from shaving, haircutting during the 3 weeks. Sephardic Jews refrain from these only during the Shavua Shechalbo, right, or 9 days maximum. So, what can they continue or not? So, it is permissible to have 2 rabbinical courts in one city. When one follows a particular tradition, another one follows another. According to the Talmud, Rava ruled that each court may follow its own tradition. But Rabbi ruled that they may not. But it's lot to do. The Rif and the Rosh ruled according to Rava. And the Rambam ruled according to Abaye. Okay, so you have a machloket. What about Rav David ben Zimra? He says that Radbaz. Rabbi David ben Zimra commented that Abaye's opinion is more reasonable since the 2 opposing courts are in the same city and their opposing rulings are liable to cause strife amongst the residents. As long as the 2 courts are in 2 separate communities, however, it's not a problem. In these times, right, in the times of Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel, there was a unique situation existed. Large numbers have followed each school. The fact that there were 2 major schools of halachic ruling was well known. Each school respected and even loved the members of each other, acknowledging that they were, right, all trying to serve Hashem in the best way possible. In fact, all the students of both these to intermarry between each other. Meaning, if you're going to tell me that one's wrong, one's right, they wouldn't even marry into each other. But the fact that they're able to marry into each other shows, אתה הבנת, זאת אומרת, עצם זה שהיו יכולים להתחתן אחד עם השני, זה מראה שזה לא שאחד טועה ואחד לא טועה. אחד זה בית שמאי, אחד זה בית הלל, וזה יהיה באותו זמן. וזה יהיה בדיוק ישיבות גדולות, ענקיות, וכל אחד עם שיטה הפוכה. Each one ממש with the שיטה, the exact opposite. So based on this, the ראשון לציון פסקן, שאין שום שאלה שלפי רבא, אשכנזי וספרדי, כל אחד יכול לנהוג כמו שלו. בגלל זה נקרא כמו שתי בתי דינים. And even according to the Rambam rules like Abaye, it's still permissible. Both Ashkenazic Jews and Sephardic are fully aware that there are different traditions. So there's no problem. Okay? The response of Parashah Mordechai Bennett ruled that if both Ashkenazic and Jews reside in one city, and if the Ashkenazi Jews have the practice putting it on during Chol Moed, but Sephardics do not, this is not over on Lotit Kodedu. Right? What about customs? So the Yisur of Lotit Kodedu is pertinent to debates about halacha. When one side rules that the halacha permits something, and the other one says it's asur. Right? But one community has become stringent in particular to a matter, and the other one is not, right? There's no lot to do. So the minute im ze rak chumra, az lo. Im ze halacha, אנחנו סוברים שזה אסור ואתה סובר שזה מותר, or vice versa. So then there it could be a problem. But if it's just going to be stam a minhag or a chumra, that's going to be okay. So he says the Rambam implies that the prohibition applies to matters of custom as well. The Rama also ruled the same thing, that there's an issue of lot to do regarding the custom refraining from having haircuts. Right? Despite this, Maran Rishon LeZion ruled that Sephardic yeshiva students may shave during the 3 weeks based on the argument cited earlier in the discussion. Finally, the Rishon LeZion cited the response of Shimon Greenwald, right? That the issue of Lot Kudu applies only to the halachic authority who issues a ruling for others. Okay, fine. So what about now Tefillin and Chol Moed? So in light of the positions of Rav David ben Zimra and Mordechai Bennett, it is clear that if an Ashkenazic Jew chooses to pray during Chol Moed in the Sephardic synagogue, he may put on the tefillin, although everyone does not have tefillin. And if it's meaning the other way around also, not in Israel, we're talking about in Chutz La'aretz. In Israel, no, but Israel we already mentioned yesterday that there's a minhag of the Gra, and if it's a minhag of the Gra, they have to follow that. Meaning that in Eretz Yisrael they would not put on tefillin, or if they would do it privately, but they can't put it on in Bet Knesset.
אפילו אשכנזים.
Afilu Ashkenazim.
ואשכנזים רק לפה. So, for example, he would go to the tefillah, do the tefillah, then go home, and then do just the bottom.
Or the other way around. Yeah.
And put it down.
Yeah.
So that he's okay to be in.
Yeah. He has to do that. He has to be having a minyan. What do you mean?
Yeah, but you said you cannot.
You're right. He's not allowed to. So he does it either way. Either he puts on the tefillin at home, says Kriyat Shema, takes them off, comes and prays, or the other way around. And that's what we said also to do with somebody that does Yisraeli that's in Chutz La'aretz for Yom Tov. On Yom Tov Sheni. אוקיי. זה מה שהוא צריך לעשות. הוא צריך לשים תפילין בבית. לא, כמו אשכנזי. Incorrect versus forbidden. Yeah, he says like this. The Mishnah Berurah states, right, that it is incorrect for some people to the synagogue to put on the tefillin while others not. Okay, that's the Mishnah Berurah. It does not say that it is forbidden. It's incorrect. The Stechem noted that this explained that these words were chosen because the author of the Mishnah Berurah was not positive that it is forbidden. Meaning, why did he choose שזה לא בסדר? הוא לא אמר שזה אסור. בגלל הוא לא היה בטוח באמת שזה אסור. So he says, the Yigrot Moshe suggested that there should be no halachic to do in this case, since sometimes it happens that people pray without tefillin because they forget them at home. But then he rejected it. And he said, since any onlooker would surely assume that it's because of Chol HaMoed, you can't say that. Meaning, you know what? אולי סתם שכח את התפילין שלו. No, you know that if the guy doesn't have tefillin, it's because of Chol HaMoed. Right? You can't just say that. So he says, fine. Zayin. Ha'olech b'midbar. Ve'enu yodea matai Shabbat. This is a halacha in Hilchot Shabbat that we already learned a few times. Right? He's going in the desert. It doesn't, one second. Right? And he doesn't remember when it's Shabbat. Right? He says, what does he do? He's going to count 7 days from the day that he paid attention that he lost count. And then he's going to sanctify the 7th day. Right? So now on his Shabbat, he's not going to put them on. Aval bishara yamim, on other days, he has to put them on. Right? But without a bracha. Why? It's a safek. Because maybe today's Shabbat. He's not sure. And some people say, שהנכון שיניח תפילין בכל יום. וקודם שיניח יעשה תנאי ויאמר, right? שאם היום שבת הוא מכוון לצורות בעלמא ולא לשם מצווה. So this is an incredible halacha. Right? Unfortunately, we actually had this, right? This, so he says now, according to the Shabbat Shalmi, this person must put on tefillin every single day, even on the 7th day. According to the Petach Advida, however, he must not put on the tefillin on the 7th day because it's actually Shabbat for him. Again, according to him, it's Shabbat. So the Kaf HaChaim says, he brings down both opinions, and he appears to favor the opinion of the Petach Advidi. So therefore, right, you're not going to put on the 7th day. The Likut Yosef suggested a compromise, wherein the person puts on the tefillin even on the 7th day, but he must make a Tanai. What's the Tanai? That if it's really Shabbat, he doesn't want to wear tefillin. And if it's not, so then it's fine. Then he's wearing tefillin. So one might ask, one second, yeah, you guys listening? He says, what is the legitimate solution? Why don't we all wear tefillin and Chol HaMoed and declare such a stipulation? Right? So he says it's not a strong question. Since regarding Chol HaMoed, we assume that the halacha is definitely as stated in the Zohar HaKadosh, right? That there's no mitzvah of tefillin. Furthermore, we cannot make a rule for everyone to put on tefillin with such a stipulation, right? So he says, right, he realizes that he does not know whether or not, right, today is Shabbat. He cannot come and he cannot be accused of being disrespectful to Shabbat by putting tefillin on Shabbat because it might not be Shabbat at all. Okay? Fine. Halacha 8, Chet. Purim, you're going to be chayav in tefillin. Look above Siman Kaf Hey, Halacha Pechet. Seder Anachat Tefillin Tisha B'Av is already brought down in Siman Lamed Chet. Halacha Pet Zayin. Hadran Alach, right? Bekiim Bahalacha.